Hey guys, I just wanted to come to you really quick and show you my system for tracking because it's working for me and how I'm inviting and what I'm doing. So let me share my screen. Some of you have seen this before and some of you have not, but this is what works for me. And you have to find what works for you. So I'm going to show you this, and if you think it'll work for you, then go ahead and set it up. But if it looks too complicated, then it might not be for you. I use what's called Google Streak, which is through my Gmail. It's free. Anybody can use this. And this is what we call a pipeline. So if you can see my screen, this is a very colorful pipeline. And I use pipelines to kind of keep track of who I'm talking to and where they're at in the conversation. So this pipeline is called my challenger prospects. These are people that are potential customers or challengers of mine. The first little group that I have is free group. Right now there's just one person in there because she wants me to let her know when my next free group is. But when somebody joins my group, my free group, I put them into that category just so I know I can expand it. And if there's 50 people in there, I'll have the 50 names here and I'll be able to keep track of who's in my free group. My next one is new friends. So every time I add a new friend and they add me back, I add them into my pipeline under new friends. And I put them here because I don't want to invite them yet. I don't want to talk to them about Beachbody. We're brand new friends. I got to get to know them first. So I put them in here. I just put the last time I had contact with them, how I met them. I like to remember how I met them. And then their Facebook page, so I can quickly just link to that. I also just started doing where they live. Especially because we're expanding so fast. I have to remember where people live so that when I am eventually talking to them about a challenge pack, I can give them the correct cost. That's the only reason why I have that on there right now. The next group is called Form. So these are people that I am forming and getting to know better. These are all Facebook friends of mine that every day I form 10 people. So that means I go through and I make sure I connect with 10 of these people, either by a personal message or liking stuff on their page, showing them love on their page, nothing about Beachbody. I am just getting to know them. And the reason why I do this is because I have learned that most of the time the people who join me and my challenge groups are people who trust me and who I have a relationship with. If I just send out cold messages to people without knowing them at all, without them knowing me, it's a big turnoff. And they're like, oh, she's just trying to sell me something. Who is this girl? But if I spend time to get to know these people and know my friends and create a relationship with them, when I send them an invite, they are much more likely to be like, hey, I'd like to know a little bit about that. And so that's why I do that. It only takes like maybe 15 or 20 minutes to really go through 10 people a day and form them, but it's so worth it. It is, I promise you guys, that is worth it. What I also like about forming is most of my friends now are coming to me from my like page or Instagram. And I don't know them really until I start forming them. And sometimes I find somebody and I start looking at their page and I realize that we have nothing in common. And by nothing, I mean like their page is repulsive to me or something. Like this doesn't happen very often, but I'm like, this person, I don't want them to join me. Like if every other post is them bashing their ex-husband and like stuff that it's not my thing. Then I can unfriend them and move them out of my form funnel and never even invite them, which is, I like that. So I have this and I'm constantly adding people into my form. Right now there's 37. As I'm talking to people, if I think, oh, I want to get to know them better, I'll add them into this section so I can get to know them better. And then what I do, this section is empty right now because I just created an invite and went through it all. But what I do then is I create an event invite for my next challenge group. And when I create that event invite for my next challenge group, I invite all of the people that I have been forming. So if I were to create that today, I would invite 37 people and a few more, and I'll get to those later, but basically that's it, those 37 people. I would invite to the event invite, and I would move their name from form into event invite, okay? And then from there, I go into step 2. So step 2 is where I send them a message, a personal invite message. So they've already been talking to me for a while. We've built up a relationship. They just got an event invite about my challenge group. And my next invite or my next message will be an event invite personally, like into their inbox. I'll be like, hey, Samantha, how you doing? How's that little girl of yours or whatever? I just wanted to let you know I invited you to my next virtual wellness community event, and I'm super excited about it. I was wondering if you would be open to hearing more about what this event is all about. And usually they respond back with, oh, I didn't see the invite. Let me go look at it. And then they go look at the invite, and then they can RSVP yes or no or whatever. But it's a lot easier to invite that way, I think, is once I know them, I have a relationship with them, and I can say, I just invited you to this thing. And they can go look at the invite and get a little bit more information, and then say, yeah, sure, I think I'd like to talk to you about it. And then I go into my script, which I have posted in the Motivation Nation from there. So the rest of these are going through the script. I personally have a health assessment that I send them that asks questions like, what types of workouts do you like? Do you have any injuries? Do you have any medical problems, etc.? I like to have a little health assessment because then at the end of that, I also say, what are your overall health and fitness goals? And then they usually write a little paragraph like, oh, I need to get healthy for my family, or I'm battling diabetes, or whatever they're going through. And that's when I get to know, like, okay, this is their pain point. This is what they really need help with. So once I send them that assessment, they go right into here. Step 4 is after they filled out the assessment and I'm talking to them about their answers. So there's no script for step 4. It is literally just talking to them about what they've talked about on their assessment. Once I've narrowed down what a good option is for them, then I go into step 5 and I send them options. Most of them will be Beachbody On Demand All Access because I truly believe that's the best option for most people. But sometimes it's not. So sometimes it's just Beachbody On Demand. Sometimes it might be Daily Sunshine with Beachbody On Demand. Sometimes I'll send them a specific workout to look at, especially if they have like an injury or something. I'll be like, take a look at this workout and see if that looks like something that you could modify to fit your injury. And if they do like that, then I talk to them about Beachbody On Demand and say that that workout is involved or included in that. So I send them options. Most of the time it's always Beachbody On Demand, but not always. Sometimes it's clean week. And then once I send them the options, they have to decide yes or no. So they have to either say, that's when you get your no's, guys. After you send the options, that's when somebody will tell you no, and then tell you why they don't want it. Or they'll say, yes, I'm ready. Once they say yes or ready, I move them into this little area. I send them a link. I'll be like, oh, cool, how exciting. Let's get you signed up then. So I send them a link and then I move them into here so I can know who to follow up with the next day and see, did they place their order yet? And so these are people that have links out there. These are all actually, one of them's for Beachbody On Demand, All Access, and the rest of them are for Clean Week because that was my most recent event invite. That's why I have more of those. I have this little section here that says sent sample. I haven't sent any samples out in a while, but I put them in there. If I send somebody a sample, I move their name there so I remember to follow up with them and see how they like it. So I have that. Follow-up 2. So this is somebody who I've been talking to. I've sent them options, and then they just stop responding to me. They just, we all have people like that. They just kind of go, who knows, off the face of the earth, and they just stop responding. So I let them sit in follow-up 2 for a while, maybe 4 or 5 days. And then I'll send them a message and say, like, this person's been here since November 10. It's now November 15. So I'm going to send her a message today and just say, hey, I realized the timing might not have been right for what we were talking about before. I was wondering if you'd be open to another invite to my next group in a month or two. Let me know. And it's kind of like giving them an out, and then they'll usually respond after that and say, yes, please, right now is not a good time, but maybe after the new year or whatever. Then you get a response from that. So after follow-up 2, I'm going to skip the coaching one for right now. This is all the people who respond to that and say, yes, please follow up with me later. I'm not ready right now, but later I would still love to do this. So that means, for me, I say next month. It's really whenever they tell me to follow up. Sometimes it's 2 weeks, sometimes it's in February, sometimes it's all over the board. But I leave notes in all of their boxes so that I know when to actually follow up with them. So these are all people who are very interested. They just said, no, not right now. So this is a great list because sometimes at the end of the month, we're struggling to hit our goal, right? And we're thinking, oh, who can I offer who's really interested? Maybe I can help them, offer a little rebate or something just to push them over the edge. So when I get to that point, if I need it, I have 21 people in this group right now that were really interested that I could start messaging, which is nice. My last 2 boxes went through 81 script. That's what this is, this whole pipeline. I call my 81 script. 81 is a course I took to teach me how to do this. That's why I say that. So if they've gone through all of this, that means they've taken my health survey, we've talked, I've formed them, I've gotten to know them, etc. These are all people that have gone through that script. I leave them in this category because now these are people that I can also send invites to. I can invite them to my next challenge group. Over here in this column, if they've told me they were interested in something like coaching or a specific program, then when I'm having a coaching sneak peek, I can go invite those specific people to coaching, etc. So these are people who I know very well in there. And then my last little thing here is Facebook friends. And these are people that I've been friends with for a long time, and I just don't know them very well. There's a ton of them in here. So when I'm going to form people and move people into my form, this is where I choose them from. So these people I don't really invite to anything because I don't really know them very well. They're just Facebook friends. I have like 2,500 Facebook friends, and it takes a while to get to know them all. So they hang out there until they get ready to be formed by me. And going back to the forming, I choose people to get to form based on who's liking and commenting on my posts. So I go through and I write down a list of names of who's liked my stuff or commented on my stuff recently, and I move them into the form section because obviously they're feeling a connection to me, so I want to get to know them better. So that's how I get them into that section, and usually they come out of that Facebook friend, that huge list. So that is how I track my people is with Google Streak. I have a lot of other pipelines. My other pipeline is Coach Prospect, and I run it the exact same way. I form them, I have an event invite, and then I send them an invite, and then we're in a conversation, and they're ready to sign up, and then I send them a link. The pipeline is the same. It's just talking about coaching, and it's a lot smaller because I'm kind of specific. And then I have my own personal coaches that I have in here. These are working coaches. If they're a discount coach, I try to keep them in with my challengers. And then I have my customers. So I have a whole bunch of different sections for that. And then I have my friends and family. So I started this pipeline because I used to have a virtual assistant when I was working full time, and she was connecting with a lot of people. So if they were my friends and family, I would want to be the only one connecting with them. I didn't want her to send my mom a message, not realizing it was my mom or something. So I have all of my friends and family in here, and it's helpful for different reasons. So, but yes, I just wanted to share. Some of you have never seen that or have never talked to me about how to track. And that for me is really helpful because when I go to sit down and do my vital behaviors, I open my challenge prospect pipeline and I know exactly who I have to follow up with. I know who I have to form. I know who I need to invite because they're in my event invite thing. And I just go down the list and start talking to people. So let me know if you have any questions about that. There's a lot of different training videos on YouTube learning how to set that up, but it's really simple. And I just add people in as I go. So if I find somebody on Facebook that liked one of my posts and they're not in my pipeline yet, I just add them in. That's how I do it. And then add them as I'm adding them as friends. So hopefully that will help somebody. That's how I track, and it works really well for me. That way nobody falls through the cracks. That's the thing is sometimes when we're saying, okay, I got to follow up with this person in 2 months and then this person in 1 month, and you write it down on a list, but what if you lose that list or forget about it? Where this is all in one spot. So hopefully that helps, and we shall talk soon. Bye-bye.